remember that forecast that I was going into?
Oh yeah, what happened there?
It was pretty rained on and off, but
Yeah.
no real trouble.
Yeah.
The last day it was kind of like raining on my equipment a bit, and I was a little bit like,
Yeah,
what
you were
do I
protected
do?
though.
But
whatever.
yeah.
So it didn't rain. It was
Just on and off.
forecasting rain.
Yep. Rain every day, it said.
And was it too hot? It was hot too.
It was hot. It was like 90 degrees and 90% humidity.
Right.
So I was sweating a lot, and I'm carrying, the backpack and the equipment and
Trying to hold the shot together.
yeah, alert.
So what we're talking about here is what? Right? How did we meet? This is a good place to start, right?
That's a good question.
Yeah. I know how we met.
You do?
Yeah, like somebody introduced you. I think you put the word out.
Okay.
Looking for help for this doc. You're putting a doc together.
That's true.
It's your first time, and somebody probably at my name.
Maybe that's what happened.
Yeah, it was definitely a Facebook thing, and whatever. I reached out. I think.
Yeah.
I was like, cool, let's do this. And then you came over here, and we looked at your camera and got into it all. And it was like, okay, I think iPhone is the way because it's coming up fast, and you're trying to learn. That was a little earlier, but
yeah,
it was
that's
coming up
right.
fast.
Yeah,
and it takes a while to get really good at manually, setting your camera up and on the fly, in the moment, thinking fast. What's going to solve this lighting problem? Right? Everybody's looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like to put people in that position. So sometimes auto is a little better for beginners. That's all.
It's hard to know the questions to ask when you haven't done it before. But that original post I made was, now I remember it, I was actually seeking collaborators.
Yeah.
Because I knew I didn't really have the technical and equipment background,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel fairly comfortable with, the writing and the story and the human interaction and all of that I've done my whole life. So I was looking for a partner.
Yeah.
And that's how I put the post out. And then it turned into, you coming in and other people coming in, but then my doing it myself anyway.
Right. Yeah. Because you raise a tiny bit of money. You pay me a little to show you some of the ropes.
Right.
A little bit of mentoring, and then you're like, I'm taking this on myself, but it's cool because I watch it. You're posting, so I'm kind of watching the process. A little proud.
Thanks.
Because you're doing great. It's so good.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
And yeah, you're getting it out there, and so I think it's going to come together, and you could probably start raising some more money now that you have it.
Yep.
Figure out a little sizzle or something like that, put together.
Yeah.
Make a post-production happen and put it together. So what's it about? Will you tell me some more about it? Just tell me your experience, because you went down to film this woman.
Right.
That had a transformation. So talk to me about it.
Well, where do I start? Okay. So first of all, I met this particular person, Tracy Lee, about 2.5 years ago. Maybe it's 3 years ago. And we were both in the same group doing a 42-day juice cleanse simultaneously. And I remember I reached out to her and we just connected through DMs for a bit.
Yeah.
And then after that, she really took off with, I think she had a physical training background and health coaching background, but she was solving her own issues of, pretty severe pain and medical issues, health issues. Mm-hmm. So she took the ball and ran with it and then created a whole business out of it. And then a year ago, I did a challenge with her. I'm hearing something.
Mm-hmm. Let me close the window.
I don't know what it is.
No, it's neighbors. We've had a few fun ones.
Yeah.
Like the neighbor, she has a new baby, this little girl, and she loves to sing and just vocalize. And she's pretty young, just walking. She just has this kind of thing she does.
Yeah.
It's super cute. So we had one in the middle of one.
Yeah. It's like, whew. So then I did a challenge with her last year, which there was a couple of challenges, but like one of them, my favorite one was a 30-day watermelon only it's called mono feasting or mono feeding. So I've been actually studying and applying the raw veganism for about, I'd say 5 or 6 years, but I wasn't facing a severe medical problem. So her and I are coming from different perspectives on it, and she just like went cold turkey, like right in. So she's healed a lot of things in herself. And then this coming year, I started seeing her training for her first all natural women's physique competition.
Can you talk about what she was kind of healing first
Yeah.
before we get into that?
Yeah.
I'm curious, a little deeper of what
Yeah,
she was healing.
absolutely.
Yeah.
She was healing. She had diabetes.
Yeah.
She was being threatened with having a hysterectomy. So, and she had severe pain because of the problems in that area.
Yeah.
Like severe pain.
Yeah.
She talks about it like debilitating. So that kind of pain and fear is very motivating. And she healed all of it. And also lost like 70 pounds.
Just through this one particular diet, like, or was there a series of things that she was doing?
No, it's really, it's, you know, I don't even call it a diet. It's really a lifestyle.
Of course.
Yeah, because it's a raw living foods,
Yeah.
natural lifestyle. I mean, she moved from Oregon. This is just last year, Oregon, where it's cold, and she was still doing it, but she wanted a tropical location with the best fruits, with sunshine, with natural living. So she did that as well. So that's where I went to see her in Florida.
Yeah.
But anyway, when I heard about the competition in Daytona Beach, which was a week before I went on this trip.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going into that. I started thinking this is a great story. You know, this is like massive transformation. And I also personally am living the lifestyle, and I just feel it's an answer to so many people who are really needlessly suffering.
Yeah.
And
What was it doing
suffering
for you?
greatly. What was it doing for me?
Yeah. So you went through the same watermelon,
Yeah.
right?
What does it do? Well, I understand.
It was a cleanse. It was cleansing.
Yeah, I understand so much more about how the human body works, because so people in this area really believe that humans are frugivores. We are frugivores by nature. And yes, we have adapted to other things, but our biology, our anatomy, our teeth structure, our hands, what we salivate over, what we're attracted to, fruits, not carcasses.
Well, we do salivate over meat.
Well, when it's seasoned and spiced, but you don't look at a deer and salivate.
Raw fish.
Do you look at raw fish and salivate?
Yes.
Really?
Sushi.
Oh. Again, with the spice, it's not in its natural state. That's the difference. So I mean, this is a longer conversation, but it's good. But it's good because these are the objections that keep coming at you when you start talking about it. But when you experiment, when you literally live like this, you see what happens inside of your body. You see what comes out, you see what transforms, you see what the brain fog, the depression that clears, the energy that's amplified, like how
the teeth. What's
what's
teeth. That about it?
Well, we have the same teeth as frugivores, as monkeys. We don't have like, if you look at a carnivore, we don't have the same teeth. We don't have the teeth of an herbivore either. So we're not meant to be like chewing on grasses either.
Do you know what's the difference there? Because I'm not sure. The herbivore against
Teeth
frugivore,
structure.
are they like grinding? Is that like a thing or something?
Yeah, it's a grinding that goes like side to side. Like horses can chew like that, cows can chew like that. And people ask, what about protein? Well, I'd say, well, where does a cow get protein from? Where does an elephant get protein from? Where does a horse get protein from? See, when you really start questioning and thinking about it, and then it begins to make sense. So that's a lot of what she is.
I was gonna say,
that's a lot of what Tracy is educating people about, and she's made this not only her profession, but really her life's mission.
Yeah. So she survives only on fruit.
Yep.
And water.
Yeah.
I suppose, right?
Yeah, fruits. Yeah.
Tea.
No, I don't think.
Did you notice while you were there?
Not. No.
Yeah.
No, when I was there, it was like we were eating watermelons, we were eating peaches. I had brought some oranges from California. We were eating that. And then we were going to exotic fruit markets and the wholesale terminal, which was a very fun day. I really enjoyed that one.
Oh yeah, I imagine.
Yeah. Wholesale fruit markets are open from midnight to 10 a.m.
Oh my God, how fun.
So her day starts at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Which is why I wound up living with her for 3 days. It wasn't planned like that originally, but the closer we got to it, I was supposed to stay at, I think I had told you, someone else's apartment on their office floor. But the closer we got and realized, like, I wanted to get the shots at 4 a.m. and the double back-to-back hot yoga sessions she does by 5:30 a.m. and then the gym. I had to be with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. You don't want to wake up somewhere else, try and get to her at 4 a.m.
It would not
Just
have
be there.
worked. It would not have worked.
Yeah.
And then, when you're following someone like that and it's unscripted, you're you
Teach me.
need yeah, you
Come on, I want to know.
you need to
Your
be alert and really like that finger on the trigger to catch it. Now you can't have it rolling all the time, right? And we
That's
talked
right,
about that
right.
because then you'll use up all your
Yeah.
you'll just have all this crazy footage. So you have to be discerning, but you have to be ready. And there
Yeah.
are conversations that happen that you miss,
Uh-huh.
and there's conversations that you catch. So
Mhm.
I think for me, it's also important to be kind with myself and compassionate. Like I'm going to catch some, I'm going to not catch some.
Right.
This is not a perfect process.
Mhm.
And it's important to stay alert
Mhm. Oh my
and
God.
paying attention.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Preemptive sometimes. You're like, something's about to happen, or she's something, and you're like, I'm just going to start rolling in case, and you catch it. You're like, oh, that was awesome. Or you go, well, nothing happened.
And then something will happen.
And then something happens.
And then something will happen
Yeah,
spontaneously
sure.
because that's how
Yeah.
life unfolds. That's what
Yeah.
I love about documentary
Mhm.
is that it's spontaneous.
Mhm.
There's no script. It is spontaneous and you're just watching life unfold. Some of the best moments happen when you're in the car with people
Yeah, sure.
or like a lot of I have a lot of footage, not a lot of the footage, but I have a lot of footage that where I'm in the back seat and Tracy and her husband are in the front seat and I've got my camera going and I'm listening to them and
Yeah, yeah.
they're having discussions, they're having quibbles, they're
Right.
like all this is
Interesting
going
stuff.
on.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They get into the bottom stuff. It's stuff you want to hear
Mhm.
someone else's perspective on, right?
Yeah.
They probably have an amazing perspective. And so it's her and her husband. Is he the same?
Same
As far as same, they eat the same, they kind of
he
exercise together, or
he doesn't do the hot yoga part. He does go to the gym. They're both very dedicated to the gym. They treat the going to the gym and working out like it's a job. I mean, there's no missing.
Yeah.
There's no missing your job.
the
So-
diet, I guess. Is
Yeah,
the
they're
word.
very dedicated to that.
Is it?
I'd
Yeah.
say he's about, well, not I'd say, I believe she said he's about like 80%
Okay.
raw vegan and the rest is he's vegan. So
Right.
he's not eating animals or any of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was vegetarian for a long time, vegan for a bunch of, probably about a year.
Mhm.
I was doing it, and then this and that, right? Right now, I'm disenchanted with food at the moment. Nothing. I even bought some food. I'm just like, I don't want any of it. I'll
Mm,
cook something. I'm kind of like,
yeah.
kind of don't want this. Maybe I'm sick of my own cooking. That's probably a part of it, right? I'm like, I'm going to make some Thai food. And it just came out the same as I always, you know what I mean? And I'm like, ugh, it's
You
just
said that 2 weeks ago. You were
disenchanted with
you
food. I
were
get like that. a
yeah.
lot.
But you mentioned you have watermelon.
I did because of you. I got inspired. So I'll kind of, and I'm going to be eating that. And I'm inspired by what you're saying here too. And what I've learned from you about this. And I never knew there was, how do you say it? Frugitarian? No.
Frugivore.
Frugivore.
Yeah.
I'm just interested in all things. So I'm just,
Yeah.
curious, and I'm currently not wanting, eggs in the morning anymore, or like a lot of those things,
It's heavy.
It's heavy, but
Heavy.
chocolate I'll go for every time, so this week is big for me. I've kind of put it on myself to not buy those things, and
Good for you.
you know what I mean? Just, I have to kind of, or I'll go off.
Well, most people, I would say most people, I mean, it's serious food addiction. We don't realize like how addicted to food we are because, quote, food,
Mhm.
and most of it is also processed, right? Anything that is not completely fresh or like off a tree
Mhm.
is processed to some degree. Like if you walk into the supermarket, you've got the produce section in a corner in the back, right? So maybe like what, 10% of the store, maybe?
Mhm.
And then the rest of that market,
Is GM?
it's processed food.
Yeah, that's my point, right?
It's packaged, it's mixed with things, God knows what. So we're all conditioned and trained to eat these things. And, they include spices, seasoning, natural flavors like
Right.
salts.
Natural flavors I call beaver butt juice.
I don't know what
right?
that is, and I don't want to
Because
know.
that's what natural flavors comes from.
Oh God,
Beaver's bum secretion.
there's all kinds of things
Tastes
in
like
there,
vanilla.
and people just
It's
people.
true. Look it up.
I believe it.
So like, oh, you want some beaver butt cheese? Cool. But now I eat it. Like, I'm not as discerning as I once was, but I'm feeling it. And I kind of like over the past year, I gave up a little, I have to say. Just being honest, I kind of just like ate what I wanted. And I kind of like, now I'm kind of like, okay, I better get back on point here because it shows up everywhere, you know?
It'll eventually catch up.
Yeah.
When you're younger, you can get away with eating like a lot of crap.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
especially if your metabolism is high, especially if you naturally exercise, you can get away with a lot. That's not the same thing as actually being healthy, internally.
No, I know. Right. Sure.
So
Optimal.
and I was an omnivore also my entire life up until like 5 years ago.
Right.
When I started really experimenting.
Yeah.
It's
yeah. Opportunivore.
Opportunivore.
Whatever's there, I'm going to eat that thing.
Yeah, but it's such a serious thing. And I think it's the root cause of just so many problems and so much suffering in the world.
Sure.
The whole medical system revolves around it. It revolves around sickness and then
Okay, sure.
and then drugs and then pharmaceuticals.
Mm-hmm.
This is a way out of that.
And what are they finding in all the foods, glyphosate and all that stuff, which is serving the medical industry, et cetera. It's the loop that they've created, which I'm so over.
It's a big loop.
It's a big loop. So opting out of processed food, that's a good start.
It's a good
That
start.
sounds like a good, easy, it's like, don't become vegan or all the words, just opt out of processed or overly processed. It's a good.
The
good
challenge,
even
though,
chocolate, I imagine, is pretty processed.
yeah,
No?
I mean, all of it is processed and heated too.
Yeah,
And
right.
so then heating denatures the food.
Right.
So, but the challenge is, because I remember going through this when my son was a little boy, which was, he's 21 now. What happens is when you start to think differently, like, okay, I'm not going to eat processed food, then the next big challenge is, what am I going to eat? Because again, we're so trained to eat a certain way, and you walk into the market and you're like, if 90% of the store is processed food and I'm not eating processed food, how do I eat? I can remember how that felt. I literally felt like I walked into a giant market and there was nothing to eat.
Mm-hmm.
So cut to many years later where I'm eating fruits, super easy.
Yeah.
Super easy.
Right.
Anyway, that's a whole discussion, but
Yeah,
you want to talk about the film?
Yeah, I do. Of course, I do. Okay. I do. This whole subject matter is regards to this documentary. Is there a name for it yet? And I want to hear about like when you first met her, when you went down and the whole thing. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like how it was. Mm-hmm. And it was cool because you took my advice. I was like, you should film when you first meet her. I want to see that moment. And you didn't. You did it exactly like it was in my head. I was like, that's it. She nailed it. Nailed it. So that's cool. Go ahead.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I want to, maybe we talk about also like
all of it.
From the beginning, my teenage years wanting to make a documentary.
Oh, please.
Because that's an important part of the backstory.
Of course.
But where do you want to go with it?
Yeah. Wherever you like to be. Whatever, so talk about that moment meeting with her and
yeah.
But I want to hear about your backstory. So just, yeah.
So right now, the working title of it, I just have it as Raw, RAW, Raw.
Got it.
Possibly Raw, the next spiritual awakening is what I have called it.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the finished title yet.
Mm-hmm.
That's my working title. Yeah. And the reason why I'm calling it Next Spiritual Awakening is because when you eat this way and you get really in touch with your true nature, like your true natural living, the way we're designed and the way we're meant to be on this earth before everyone started to extract things from you and sell you things and the consumption culture and things that you not only don't need but hurt you.
Yeah.
It begins to change your consciousness. It literally changes your consciousness. So that's why the next spiritual awakening. There's something that happens when you eat close to your nature and you live in the sun and you stop being an overconsumer that clears your head, clears your heart, especially the veganism, because, the way I changed that was to watch I call them animal slaughter documentaries, because
Yeah.
that's what they really are.
Uh-huh.
And I did that purposely, and I used my own empathy to change my heart, and I knew what I was getting into. I planned a day where I sat down and I was like, I am going to now watch 2 or 3 of these documentaries, and whatever happens, I'm going to face. That was not an easy thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And most people don't want to do that, but I'm glad I did. And when I did, when I really saw it, I said, well, first of all, my jaw was open,
Mm-hmm.
like for a large part of that, because I just couldn't believe the things that I was seeing and the things that people do to animals and then say we love animals.
Sure.
You cannot love animals and kill and eat animals. You see what I mean? So the consciousness.
Yeah, it's complicated. You know what I mean? Because love is a complicated, right?
Well, it's not that complicated to me.
Sure.
I mean, the consciousness starts to change because you begin to awaken to what is really happening. A lot of it behind closed doors, because we don't see that part. We go to a barbecue and partake, but we're not seeing what happens in the backstory of this. So when you become aware and you take the time to watch these documentaries,
Mm-hmm.
and then my thought was, I want no part of this.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I changed.
How old are you?
It was 2.5 years ago.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay.
It was 2.5 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
So
2.5 years, you feel different.
I want no part of.
Right. What actually happens to documentaries, the slaughterhouses, all that stuff. It's gnarly. It's gnarly.
It's
like
beyond.
I eat meat currently. You know what I mean? Like I'm not. We're all in a moment, and my moment is this moment, and so that's what I'm doing, and I understand. All of what's happening because of all the knowledge that I have, and I know what's happening out there in the world. But from my perspective, it's a little complicated. You know what I mean? Fresh sushi, things like that. Like I don't have an issue with. I don't have an issue with even eating like raw steak, kind of things like that. I feel like we've been doing for a long time. I don't have the answer, and so that's why I want to talk to you. And you know what I mean? That's why I was vegan. That's why I was vegetarian. And maybe I'm letting myself off, or I'm being lazy, or whatever it may be. But meat helps me feel good. You know what I mean? Like whatever it means, it's like if I feel good from eating it.
It's a stimulator.
It's stimulator.
It's stimulating, but it comes down to choice.
Thank you for hearing me out.
Yeah, of course.
Not easy to.
It's not easy. I agree with you. It's
Yeah.
not easy. I mean, I only changed it 2.5 years ago, and I was very intentional about it. But I would never say it's easy. Tracy wouldn't say it's easy.
Yeah, right.
And a big part of this also, which is, it ties into. So I mentioned the competition in Daytona, going down there as kind of like the culminating event. But what happened was, first of all, logistics were very difficult. It was the west coast of California, where she lives, to the east coast, where Daytona Beach is. And then I found out I'm already in, like I'm going to make this documentary. I'm coming to see you.
Yeah.
Then I found out they were having a VIP client retreat the week after Daytona Beach competition.
Oh.
And I started to think, wait a minute, that actually might be a better thing to film in terms of the story than the Daytona Beach competition, because I can possibly get footage from the professional videographer and photographers at that competition.
Sure, yeah.
So wound up doing that. But to connect this to what we were talking about, the part that's not easy is being in this world where everything revolves around food and socializing.
Okay.
Every single tradition, every celebration, every time someone comes to your house, every school day.
Well, it's 3 meals a day too. It's
3 meals a day, which is made up.
Oh yeah. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Of course, it's made up. Everything. Yeah, right.
Where does that come from?
I don't know. Maybe just you get hungry every few hours. But
Like,
maybe you don't. Like when I fast and things, it's like I'm not hungry anymore. There's right. So I think there's more than one answer. It's both and. So keep going, please.
well, you would only know if you did the experiment on yourself
Mhm.
and really felt what it feels like. I can honestly say I have never been hungry, true hunger, a day in my life. Have I had cravings? Yes.
Mhm.
Is it the same thing? No.
You've never had like no money and you can't buy food or
I've never
something
had
like that.
I've never had no money. I mean,
Right. Sure.
there are for sure people who,
Mhm.
don't have enough money and go days or weeks or whatever
Sure.
with very little food.
Right.
They do experience hunger, but 99% of Americans are not experiencing hunger.
Right. Sure.
We could live off of our fat for a month.
Uh-huh.
For real. I mean,
But then what? That like after that month, you know what I mean? Like
you
how long
you
can we
nourish your
go?
body.
Right.
You
I'm
nourish
sure
your
there's
body.
been documentaries and studies and tests and people have gone without food, right? Breatharian.
I mean, there's people who do, True North does 40-day water fasts, up to 40-day water fasts.
Wow.
I've done 7-day water fasts. Even with a 7-day water only,
Yeah.
I never felt hungry.
Mhm.
So we're not
Yeah,
in touch enough with our own bodies and how we actually feel to even make a determination about whether we're hungry. We think we're hungry, but it's
Right.
up here.
Interesting.
It's a craving. So it's
Yeah.
different,
Yeah.
So
What are we capable of? I know, we're just touching the
that's
edge there.
that's a great question. And actually that's a question that Tracy talks about. Like,
Mhm.
she wants to see what she's capable of, what the human body is capable
That's
of.
cool.
So she's doing she wound up winning in her category,
Oh, okay, good.
first place in Daytona Beach.
And what's the thing? It was like
All natural.
showing your body how
Oh yeah. So she's
incredibly
like, I mean,
lean
she's
and
got
perfect you
like
are,
an
whatever.
8-pack and completely buffed out.
Yeah.
This is fruit only. This goes against every single
That's
physical trainer who makes a plan with you about needing 160 grams of protein.
okay.
It's not true.
Okay. Okay.
But she's the health coach.
Uh-huh.
I coach sometimes too, but
Uh-huh.
I'm the filmmaker in this situation.
Right. Right.
So
And so she coaches people as well. That's
Yeah.
how she makes her money. Or
yeah,
whatever.
that's her business.
Well, that's amazing.
That's
So
her
she must turn a lot of people onto this.
Mm-hmm.
Did she
Yeah.
turn you onto this, or is this something
No,
you kind of joined that?
we were in
thing?
someone else's group
Yeah.
a few years ago,
Yeah,
both doing a 42-day juice cleanse at the same time.
Yeah, I
We
remember
were the
that, yeah.
two people in that group who
Okay.
were doing it, and I just, connected with her, and then she started this business a few months later. But she had already kind of been involved with,
Mhm.
teaching and coaching and training and all that.
Yeah.
So back to you
What'd
asked
you
me.
capture while you were there? Let's keep going.
Yeah. Okay.
So you got there and the meeting looked really sweet.
Oh,
She
the
looks
meeting.
incredibly lively and vibrant,
Oh,
obviously.
yeah.
So yeah, what happened when you met?
Yeah.
What happened?
So first of all, that shot that you encouraged me to take to set up at the airport when I first arrived.
Yeah.
And I've never done that before. So I'm like,
Right.
remember, you saw my face. I was like, what?
Setting up a tripod at the airport.
I'm going to do a
Right.
tripod at Tampa International Airport. Like, what do cars are coming.
Yeah.
I don't know when they're coming.
Right. People don't want to be filmed.
People don't want to be filmed.
Right.
There's taxi drivers, there's valet people. I'm
Yeah.
thinking, how am I, and you have to move the tripod and
Right.
get it the right height and all
Okay.
kinds
Okay.
of, but I got there and I'm like, I'm a little maybe stubborn. It's a good quality I have for this.
For this, yes.
The persistence and determination.
Uh-huh.
And sorry, I'm just having a flashback to my very first screenwriting class I ever took at UCLA. And this is a while ago, 25 years ago. And the professor walked in, who was a writer on Star Trek for many years. And the first thing he did was he wrote on the board, persistence and determination. That was the first day of screenwriting class.
Yeah. Nice.
And I
Obviously never
out of
forgot.
that entire class, that's the only thing I remember.
That's awesome.
You know how you take those like that
Yep,
one
that's a nugget. Yep.
And it was like he was saying, like, this is the key.
Mhm.
if you don't give up, the people who persist with determination are the people who will eventually succeed.
Yeah, nice.
You know,
That's
the
rad.
the 20-year overnight success.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So
So here you are. I better be bold.
40 years later.
40. Okay, 40 years later.
40 years
Up to
later.
needing to be brave.
Yeah.
And
Be brave.
remembering that. Did you remember that moment, or did you? You know what I mean with that professor?
Oh yeah,
guess
I've definitely thought about it.
Yeah.
Like, because what this experience has given me is feeling my own persistence and determination and
Yeah.
my own resilience.
Mhm.
You know, to be sleeping, you know, maybe 4 hours a night. And really, like, I was really working 17 to 20 hours a day, and I was going to sleep 3 hours or more after everyone else was going to sleep, because I was so obsessed with the reviewing the footage and the storage and the uploading and the
Right.
transferring and the
Yeah.
backing up. I mean, I told you before I left, I was like, I kept saying, I got to get this right. I got to get this right. Because to take all that footage and then
Can't lose it.
or to lose it or to fall behind, or, you know,
Right.
because I'm doing it on my phone, I
That's
needed
right.
to clear my phone
Constantly.
and delete those
Right.
videos and
Yep.
then delete the deleted videos.
Yes. Yeah. Sure.
And it was like, oh,
So good.
I have a
Conscious.
lot of persistence, determination, and resilience. And that's what you learn by doing things. You gain competence by doing the thing.
Yeah. That's right.
Do the thing and you shall have the power, which
Right.
is Emerson. And
Sure.
so I set up the shot at the airport
Yes.
and I'm moving it and they're coming. I don't even know what their car looks like.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a black truck. It turned out to be a van, not a truck. But
Okay.
and I'm just, you know, moving it and people are saying stuff to me, like wanting to be in the shot, not wanting to be in the shot, like all that's going on. You're laughing because you've been there.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And
It's just funny too.
and then I was just like, well, this is either going to work or it's not, but
Yeah.
I'm going to do my best
Right.
to get the shot.
Yes.
And this is how I did the whole thing, the whole 6 days.
Uh huh.
This is going to work or it's not, but
Yeah.
I'm going to do my best.
Right. Of course.
So I set up the shot and then you saw it and then here she comes and she's like lively and she goes like
Yep.
Dragon Mama TV or something. And then I gave her a big hug and then I picked her up because I just wanted to, like, you know, she's like super buff.
Right. Was she smaller than you or not?
We're
Shorter
about
than you?
we're
I mean?
about the same. We're about the same height.
Okay.
She might be an inch taller than me.
So you picked her up, yeah.
Yeah, I picked her up, and then she picked me up, and then it was just a
Exactly.
cute opening. But it was just like you said, you know, it set the tone for the rest because it's like, okay, now we're working.
Exactly. It's not like when are we going to start? It's
Yeah.
It's there. We're already going.
It was the
Yeah.
best thing I could have done. So
Awesome.
I thank you for that tip.
You got it.
Then I got in the car, and I've got my tripod set up.
Yep.
Like I'm already
Yeah,
captured.
yeah, right. Yeah, that's nice. In the car, tripod.
Yeah.
Cool. And you were off. And you
Yeah.
were off.
Which
That's
is
cool.
kind of it's very challenging having a tripod in a car.
Yeah.
Especially my little travel
Adjusting
one.
height on the fly. You
I mean,
know?
it's so light. I mean, there was one time I went flying like into the front seats when we were on the.
Yeah, you're not paying. What the fuck?
No, it wasn't me not paying attention. It was the drive and the freeway and.
Sure. You didn't have
So-
your seatbelt on because you're shooting. And then, so
Yeah.
you weren't always using the tripod in the car, right? You were hand holding as well?
There was sometimes I was like,
Yep.
you know,
that's it.
like
That's it. Yep.
elbows on knees,
Yeah.
as steady as I could, but probably motion. And, you know, there was a lot of moments like that.
That's
because-
fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's cool. Curious to see it all.
Yeah.
And so I'm a little confused because were you there for the competition, both and the thing, or just the VIP event?
Yeah. No,
You missed the competition, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
as we
good.
got closer, I said to her,
Let's do it during this time.
I had called the hotel like in Daytona Beach and I was looking into it and I found out that, you know, they also weren't allowing professional photographers and videographers
Right.
into the event. And
Okay.
I thought, I'm not
Oh.
going to get good shots.
Yeah,
with,
there you go.
So maybe I can get footage released later.
Yeah.
But I called her and I said, you know, I'm thinking this might actually not be the best culmination or use of our time. Maybe it's better if I come to the VIP retreat.
Right, like you said.
So then she invited me to that.
Yeah.
And then
And she had won now when you showed up. Right. She had-
Right.
Right. So
That's
she
right.
was on a high, which is super.
Yeah. Yeah. She went right from
Amazing.
that
That's
win
neat.
to a VIP retreat.
Yeah.
And then
That's
a
what.
few days later, she just returned she went to Rochester, New York
Yeah.
for her pro card.
Pro card, like pro body.
Yeah, pro
Really?
bodybuilder. I don't
Yeah.
know a lot about it. I think you can like begin to earn money, like
Yeah.
actually
Right.
being a bodybuilder and stuff like that.
That's very cool.
So,
Right. And so you stayed with her. You were going to stay somewhere else on someone's floor.
yeah.
You stayed with her in a bed.
No, at first it was going to be on the floor and I thought, "Oh my God, like I need my body to work."
All those
Like
hours
on
a
a
day. Yep.
hardwood floor would be rough. She wound up dragging in a a pad from storage or
Yeah.
something. So I had
Mhm.
it was a very small place.
Yeah.
I was in the middle of their living room where
Yep.
she does her um teaches her classes,
Mhm.
and
So
that's
you could
where I
just wake up
slept.
and start filming from bed. He was like, "Oh, there she
Yeah,
goes. Okay, here we
yeah,
go.
yeah,
Morning."
yeah. I'm waking up at 4 o'clock
Uh,
to get to the yoga studio before sunrise.
yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool. So like,
Mhm.
yeah.
And then you saw those shots too in the yoga studio
Mhm.
because I was like, oh, I haven't had a chance to talk to you about that. I was so worried about that. I was like, first of all, it is hot as hell in there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's infrared lights.
And then AC going
Oh no,
in a gym in Florida.
it's hot yoga.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's she herself had I'm talking a pool of sweat.
Oh yeah, right.
A pool of sweat. And
Mine would be a deluge.
she's doing it on purpose
Yeah.
because she's detoxifying her body through sweating and the lymphatic system. But it's
For
also
how long though? How is she still detoxing? Is she still going?
every day
So,
you detox.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah,
You
sure.
sweat and you detox.
Yeah.
It's a very important part of healing. Healing is really not what we put in ourselves or do to ourselves. It's actually what we leave out because our body is a self-healing mechanism.
Mhm.
Our body does the healing. Nothing outside of the body heals the body. When we put less food in, when we put less of a burden on our body,
Yeah.
then our digestive system rests, our cells regenerate.
Mhm.
It's not using energy for all these other heavy processes.
Mhm. Right. So yeah, let's keep going. Because I'm curious, like what? Because she seems like a character.
Yeah.
Did you guys get into some stuff?
Yeah.
Like what happened out there?
That's such a big question.
It could be moments of insight. Like she's just an interesting person.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
doesn't have to be over the top stuff. It's just like
yeah,
very
yeah.
curious.
Well, there's inherent, so also as a filmmaker, right, I'm looking for the conflict also,
Mhm.
right? Because it can't just be like,
Of
like
course not.
flat
Right.
or like, all
No.
like paradise,
Mhm.
because then it's interesting, but maybe it could be more layered. But I think inherently the conflict with her, first of all, from what she's talking about, because it's very controversial, right? Even in this conversation, right? Anytime I bring up raw living foods, even if it's in terms of a film, we won't be talking about the film. Now we're talking about what's better for people? Like people really want to get into that.
You're
And
giving
there's a
people
lot of,
information. It's important.
yeah, there's a lot of objections though.
Oh yeah.
This
Yeah,
happened to
yeah,
me
yeah.
when I was at the MFA documentary program in Iowa too. Like I
Mhm.
pitched this idea when I was there in February.
Yeah.
And even my professor mentor there was like, well, I know someone who went on the vegan diet and they got sick. And I was like, this is so interesting. I'm talking about a story and he's talking to me about
Well, I know. Yeah.
the
Yeah. Right.
argument
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
the nutrition. So that's what I mean. So it's
Yeah.
inherently
Yeah. People are gonna.
controversial. And then she has a very dynamic, I'd say fearless, brutal truth style.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting.
That's great.
And
That's great.
she'll say whatever. I mean, she
Uh huh.
doesn't couch anything.
Right.
She knows what she knows and
Mhm.
the truth of the situation. And she's very passionate about it,
Yeah.
And then, you've got the family stuff going on.
Mm.
And then when we went to, and just the intensity of her routine also,
Mm.
4 a.m., 2 hot yoga back to back. That's 2 hours, full hours. Then the gym. And then we're like, it's only like 9 a.m.
Mhm.
and we've had a full day.
Yeah.
And then we're going off to like the markets and, dealing with that and buying all this food, all these like cases and cases. We bought like 12 cases of fruits and stuff for
Yeah.
the VIP retreat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I found myself in this Airbnb with 15 people. And then I thought, this is a lot to manage. Like,
Yeah.
here I am trying to get shots with 15 people in a room talking.
Oh yeah, sure. Make decisions.
You know, how do you do that?
Yeah, because you make a decision, but then it's very loud, and it's like, right. So
I'm worried about the sound. And
right,
all
what
of
am I
that,
getting right
but-
now? Is this going to actually play in the end,
Exactly.
or it should just be B-roll of people enjoying conversation? You know, right?
Yeah.
Start to
So
think about things. Right?
exactly,
Yeah.
Adam. So I was doing some of that, and then I was also like asking, like pulling people out into the next room to like
Nice.
get some
There
interviews.
you go.
So it's a little bit of all. I'm proud of myself for that because
Yeah.
I had it in mind, like at least 3 interviews, and I probably wound up getting like 5 or 6
Okay, good.
of other people.
Yep.
And, you know, just to see how 15 frugivores come together for the first time and how they live in community.
Yeah.
Like it's actually very wholesome because they're not going out to like bars and drinking and ordering pizzas and watching, you know, movies and playing games.
Yeah.
It was kind of like just taking care of your body. There was a lot of juicing going on.
Yep.
I mean, we were making like,
Constantly.
you know, like juices like
Right.
this, you know, in containers this big.
Yeah.
We're loading it up for the beach.
Yeah.
We're cutting up fruits. We had like a huge table. I don't know if you saw that photo.
Yep.
Hello, which is covered in
Yep.
in different exotic fruits and everything. We're going out to some road trips or visits to different exotic markets and everything, which is really fun because
That's cool.
you've got the guy with the machete like cutting up coconuts, and
Mhm.
you're sipping coconuts and passion flower juices
Yeah.
and all kinds of neat things. And then it was like, you know, playing guitar. Tracy plays guitar, and then we're all
Nice.
singing. And I brought a
Mhm.
playlist, so there's dancing, and
Good.
it's just very like how can you celebrate life without the food being the central thing?
Yeah. Right. People talk about that kind of stuff with AI, especially. Like, what are we going to do if we don't have a purpose of going to work? It's like there'll be plenty of things you can figure out to do besides going to work, and in this case, besides needing to eat that meal. There's like, you know, like we don't need that as a purpose. You know, I find myself leaving the house for food specifically as a purpose. And I thought of the other day, I'm like, I'm just going out just to get, it's just like, doesn't seem that fulfilling, you know? And so you're right. So I've been challenging myself recently, you know, the three meals a day and all that kind of stuff. So, but I'm curious about your what got you into all this when you were a kid. Like, what was that? Because I had my path of wanting to become a filmmaker because of certain reasons, and so I'm curious about yours. You know? So, what is yours?
Now I'm curious about yours. You can tell me later.
Okay, good.
I'll interview you.
All right. Talk to me.
Okay. Well, I would say my earliest thoughts about this was I was probably about 17. So it's that age stage of identity, literally in socio-psychological terms. It is the age stage of identity, which means you're trying to figure out who you are and what you're going to do in the world, right? It's like that stage where we're gearing up to either leave our families' homes, go out and work, or go to college, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
What is our path? And I had these creative leanings, like I enjoyed photography and I liked to dance. I would spend hours and hours dancing and choreographing myself and sometimes my younger brother.
Nice. Of course.
In the
I've seen that,
house.
yeah.
And the documentary came from, I really think it's a combination of my personal interests and maybe some skills of like writing, photography, interacting with people, learning about people, curiosity, human behavior, truth, like seeking truth. I was always more interested in truth and thought it was more fascinating than fiction. So somehow I got the idea, and I grew up and lived in New Jersey, and I had the idea of going to UCLA and studying film, but specifically documentary. But when I was about 16, something happened in my family that was shattering, and it set me on a course. Instead of going on my own path, my true path, creative path, it set me on a course of survival. Now, maybe it doesn't do that with everybody, but it does that with a lot of people. Like a lot of people go into survival mode because I interpreted it as, okay, I need to take care of myself and I'm not going to let this ruin my life. What am I going to do? I didn't have the wherewithal or the courage at the time to get my 17-year-old self or whatever to California to follow this path that I really wanted. So I wound up going to business school. And I was also good at that. So I worked really hard, and that's what I did for 4 years. I became a CPA in my early 20s.
Okay.
And with one of the top global firms, and traveled some internationally and worked really hard at doing something that I would say I was up the wrong ladder on. And that is why I am so passionate about talking with other people about like what your secret life is, what your real dream is, what is that thing you've always wanted to do that you've put off for maybe decades.
Right.
And then when I was about 25, my mid 20s, a series of events happened. I actually wound up getting really sick. Like I almost died it was just from the stress of not being in alignment. It really was like working so hard at something that was not mine. And I wound up burning everything to the ground. I mean, everything. Like my apartment in New York City, my high paying job, my relationship at the time. And I moved from New York City to Los Angeles by myself. This is long before internet, long before GPS or any of that, with no job, no place to live. And I didn't know anybody. There wasn't like a sister or a cousin or a boyfriend or anything. I literally drove out like this, like Mary Tyler Moore, with some stuff in my back.
You're gonna make it better. And so where are you landing?
I did. Honestly, I didn't even know where I was going. I made it out to Los Angeles, and then I kind of saw a street, Santa Monica Boulevard. That sounds familiar. I take the exit. I wound up
Where'd you sleep is my question.
I wound up the very first night, I can't remember it because I'm also street smart. So like as a woman, especially, you're wearing like maybe your money on your body. You're like paying attention. You're at the laundromat trying to get your clothes cleaned and you're watching out and it's, midnight in Hollywood kind of situation.
Yeah.
I went to a payphone. This is how long ago that was.
Okay.
I went to a payphone behind the Comedy Store on Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
And you could dial the operator or 411. And I remembered a place called Marina Del Rey. I don't know where I got that from some past.
I don't know. Give me Marina Del Rey.
Well, I asked for the Marina Del Rey Hotel.
Okay, good.
Not knowing if there was a Marina Del Rey Hotel.
Yeah.
And there was one.
Okay.
And then I called the Marina Del Rey Hotel.
Oh,
and I booked a reservation and I drove, 45 minutes there. It was actually kind of a nice hotel. It's where the airline pilots and flight attendants stayed. Okay. I remember that.
Okay.
And I stayed there for one night.
Yep.
And then I got in my car and I drove around. And LA at the time, it was easier than it is now. Like there were for rent signs out in places. And I just wound up meeting people, talking to people, moving into the back master bedroom suite of a place in Hancock Park.
Yeah.
And I just made my way and I changed my whole life because I wanted a creative life. And I left everything I had worked for behind.
Well, you didn't immediately get into documentaries, did you?
No, I did not. Okay. I was used to being recruited by headhunters and all that.
Oh, yeah, right.
And people told me, you can't just get a creative job.
Sure. Right.
Well, I was in Gold's Gym in Venice Beach working out, and across the room, I see someone that I dated in New York.
Wild.
And he comes running toward me.
Oh my God. Wow.
And I, what are you doing here? And I tell him what was up. And he said, I work at Geffen Records. And I know someone there who's hiring. I'm going to get you an interview. And that was the beginning. And I wound up talking that person into hiring me because they did not want me to take such a severe pay cut.
Hmm. What was the position?
It was in creative marketing
Okay.
at
Yeah.
Geffen Records. So I had a
Okay.
little bit of the
Creative.
creative, like dealing with the artists and the gold and platinum records,
Yeah.
and then some of the, like, my accounting background was like doing the marketing cost summaries.
Yeah. Right. Sure.
But
You
it
were useful, I bet.
but it was the most amazing time ever. I mean, I walked in, we are getting way off topic, but that first day, I remember I walked in with a blue silk dress on into Geffen Records, where everybody is wearing concert t-shirts, ripped up jeans. I mean, I was looking around like, what the hell is this? Like, I had no concept that people lived and worked like this.
Right.
And
Right.
again, we hit it off, but he was like, I don't know, this is a really big like pay cut for you. And I just told him, don't worry about it.
Okay.
I got it. I got it. Um,
It set you off.
yeah,
Now you set you off. That's so cool. What an opportunity you got.
it was incredible. And that's how a lot of my life has been. And I think, I don't know if it works like that for everybody, but I truly believe, like, when you follow that bliss, like Joseph Campbell talks about,
Yeah.
doors will open for you that would not have opened for anyone else because you're meant to go in that direction.
Right.
My heart had been telling me since I was a teenager to move to California to follow these creative pursuits.
Yeah.
And when I did, I got chills. Look what happened.
Nice.
These doors just literally opened for me, and one thing after another. And the documentary part took me a bit longer. I mean, almost 40 years later. So it would keep coming up. Like, I always had the interest. And when I was a mom and I was like reassessing my life, it would come up again. But I don't know, maybe it was such a big thing for me that I was afraid perhaps to pursue it, because I mean, you see what a big responsibility is. Like, I just
Right.
went and did this. Like, I haven't had any training really, except for my writing training and my screenwriting. And I wound up at UCLA.
Yeah.
I wound, not in the way I thought, but I wound up at UCLA, in my 20s, and taking many, many writing classes there.
Right.
And I remember the day I was there, I thought, oh my God, here I am. I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I made that dream come true.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So the documentary stuff would come up, but, then I was a mom.
Mm-hmm.
I had a son who, was great, but like high needs, like that's very,
Okay.
Marriage was supportive and not supportive. And I had to, I extracted myself out of that eventually.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until this past year where it came together and I decided to pursue it. And it's terrifying at first.
Did you decide to pursue it first, or did this woman, or did you go, oh, this is the story? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think what happened was this past year, maybe it was almost about a year ago. How can I say? Okay. Another interesting weird thing, but this is how life goes. My life goes. I started seeing ads for Maharishi University in Iowa. And when I was 17 and had this idea about UCLA documentary, at the same time, I also had received a brochure or something from Maharishi University in Iowa. And I remember feeling very called to it.
Yeah.
But again, who am I going to talk to about this? There was no one to talk to about my creative pursuits or my spiritual leanings at all. And I always say, like, if you're in California, you probably have more exposure to things like that. But back east at that time, nada, right?
Right.
Again, I didn't have the wherewithal to get myself there. So here I am almost 40 years later. This past year, I start seeing ads about Maharishi University, which, by the way, now has the David Lynch School of Film there.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Jesus, wow.
Incredible, amazing artist.
Mm-hmm.
David Lynch. Oh, I wish I had gotten a chance to work with him.
Yeah, right.
He just passed like 2 years ago.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. they were offering their first ever MFA in documentary. And I was seeing it for months until finally in my own brain, I was like, Lisa, pay attention.
Mhm.
You're thinking about this. You're thinking, and I'm using myself as an example because I think it's important for people, other people, to become aware of what catches your eye, of
Mhm.
what catches your interest. You know, what are you thinking about? I even had to say it to myself until I finally realized, oh my God, these two things have come together. So next thing I knew, I'm on the webinars with the professors there and I'm learning more about it. And I'm like, this is really cool, you know? And my son's grown up.
Yep.
I'm on my own.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's stopping me?
Nice.
Nothing anymore except my own bullshit,
Mhm.
right?
Nice. Okay.
And I wind up applying. And I've never made a documentary. I don't have a portfolio. I put together in 3 or 4 days, which, you know, was like a month's worth of work, a portfolio based on every creative thing I'd ever done.
Okay.
I sent it off. I had the interview. I was accepted.
Congratulations.
And then I went out to Iowa in February thinking, am I crazy?
Okay.
You know, all those doubts
Yeah.
that you have. Am I crazy? Is it too late?
Hmm.
Well, you say that, but I'm speaking these words because this is what most people.
Well, sure.
These are the self
You're gonna
doubts
do
of
that.
most
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, maybe men less. I don't know. For
No.
women, for
No.
sure.
No. Plenty of self doubt in there.
Okay, women for sure are
Yeah.
thinking. You know, is it too late? Am I crazy? You know, because of
Mhm.
all the conditioning and all the backlash we get from people.
Yeah.
And
These are good things. You know, you're checking in with yourself. If you didn't do that, you go willy nilly, but you go, okay, let me assess my age. Okay. You know, and it's assessment. It's not like bad or good, actually.
well, there's assessment, but there's also things we can talk ourselves out of that
Yes.
aren't true.
If
And you can
the
go
assessment goes bad.
decades. I mean, there's 25-year-olds who think it's too late. That's real.
Sure.
It's not it's not actually our own voices. It's
Mhm.
implants, it's seeds that have been planted from
Yeah. Right.
advertising, from our parents, from culture, from school, like all these
Ingrained.
negative parasitic voices that are not ours.
Yes, sir.
And you have to, we're not, tease them out
Mhm.
and more importantly go forward anyway.
Good.
It was terrifying. I mean terrifying for me to book that trip to Iowa.
Yeah. What
And
happened out there?
well, I did it. I went out there for the first week of residency. I met 7 other people in the MFA program who I'm still connected with. And I got into the studio and I pitched ideas and we listened to, you know, several professional documentary filmmakers, had one-to-ones with them. It was an amazing experience. I'm like, here I am. Like here I made it here, you know. This is a dream come true.
Yeah.
A lot of dreams come true this year.
Yeah.
And then I came home and then I did the assessment and I had a week to decide if I was going forward with it. And I really, it was one of the hardest things because I had to tease out where I was making a decision from.
Yeah.
Like
Of course.
other people's expectations,
Mhm.
my own fantasies, who I was then, who I am now, whether this is the right path for me. It took a full week. And by the end of that week, I came to a very clear, sovereign decision that this was a creative path for me, but this specifically was not my path.
Mhm.
Then I had to go through emailing my professors and mentors and telling my cohort and everything. And then everything just got real quiet. And I thought, I was just listening for the next opportunity, the next story.
Yeah. Right.
And then this story
And
came
then
up.
here we are. Okay.
And then I decided
That's
to go forward with it.
okay. Good. That was a good inspiration for you then, because it's a worthy story, right? If
Yeah.
they were like, "Oh, we're gonna make a documentary about this thing you're on. You're gonna be a part of the team," you would have been, like, "Oh, wow, I'm making a documentary. That's great." Now this is like, this is where it's at. Going and doing something that's in your own heart. You know what I mean? Like, you know, because it could you can make documentaries on a million things, and they're all important, I imagine. But all of a sudden, something inspires you to go make the documentary. Like that's like, and then you went and did it, and it was hard. But of course, you're inspired. So now you're up all night, you know, in the morning. So it's really beautiful. So
Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Yeah, you really get to see who you are in the moment, and there's that self observation, like watch yourself in terms of like what am I actually doing, or what am I talking about but not doing.
Mm, of
Because
course.
it's in the doing that we learn what we receive the feedback.
Yes.
We receive the feedback. I mean, some people call it failing fast or failing forward,
Yep.
but it's feedback.
Yeah.
So you
Right.
do the thing and
Yeah.
then you're like, this is for me or this isn't for me. And that's extremely valuable data. And you can't have it. You can't get the data unless you do the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Assessing.
Right.
Be assessing. Be always be assessing.
Always
AKA.
be rolling, always be charging, always be assessing. Or obsessing.
Yeah, both. Your
Yeah.
ABCs.
And it's ignited a lot of other creative aspects for me. Like I rebranded my Substack.
Yeah.
And I tripled my subscribers from that. And now
Oh.
I'm also writing a book. I just started
Yeah.
a second book a few days ago.
This subject matter or what?
It'll be on this subject matter.
Okay.
But
so we can look out for it.
Yeah, my Substack is called Woman Full Power.
Okay.
And that's where I go more deeply into, like the film, the book I'm writing, the real time lived experiences of women, but also men, our subscribers,
Yeah,
women reclaiming their power and the power they've given away to everyone else, reclaiming that power for life on your own terms.
Nice.
Which is what I'm doing now.
Good.
So
All right.
that would be where to follow me.
And what is your handle like? Like that's the handle as well.
It's Woman Full Power.
Woman Full Power on Substack.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's a good place to reach you. Amazing. Good stuff. Yeah. Keep rising. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Feels good.
Thank you.
So this is a good place, I think, to stop. I think
okay.
I think this is great. Thank you so much for coming by and inspiring me.
I appreciate you and thank you for having me as a guest here.
You got it.
Yeah. Cool. Really appreciate it.
Right, bring it in.
All right.
Thanks, dear.